Han Dynasty, the structure of Chinese society was clearly defined. At the top of the Han Dynasty social structure was the emperor. He is the most powerful person in the kingdom. He was responsible for all the decision making and led the entire kingdom. Next came kings and governors, both appointed by the emperor. They governed with the help of state officials, nobles, and scholars. Certain nobles were also present during different periods of the Han Dynasty. Scholars also belonged to the same tier as that of the nobles and the government officials. The social status of farmers and peasants can be considered to be above that of the laborers, but well below those of the wealthier landowners. The following consisted mainly of the artisans and merchants, who were responsible making useful items such as swords and knives, as well as creating luxury goods for the wealthier class. Near the bottom were the soldiers, who guarded the empire's frontiers, and lastly at the bottom were slaves, who were usually conquered people.
Religion was very important in shaping rules and regulations. First and foremost, Taoism was considered the main religion during the Han Dynasty. Confucianism was more of great philosophy than a religion, and it became one amongst the most crucial ideology beliefs in Han Dynasty. For ancestor worship, the emperor worshipped his ancestor through expensive burials. Other than that, ritual sacrifices are offering of food, objects, or the life of animals to praise or seek of guidance, such as putting up prayers for rain during droughts. Chinese shamanism means the practice of and belief in magical skill and abilities. In order to achieve the purposes, they need to deal with the devil and apply the cautions. All these religions helped to shape Han Dynasty into what it was.
Winter Solstice Festival was originated from Han Dynasty. It is also called Winter Festival or Dongzi in Chinese pronunciation. This festival is one of the traditional Chinese festivals. People in the old times attached great importance to the festival. It is successfully passed down to the generation and it is still celebrated by the Chinese nowadays once a year. Tangyuan is a kind of glutinous rice ball which is filled with different fillings. People think after eating it they will age one. Tangyuan is pronounced similarly to Tuanyuan in Chinese, which means the whole family gathering together happily. Chinese people believe that the round shape of the balls and their bows symbolize wholeness and togetherness.
东吴子弟，听着，今天过冬节，本应该是一家团圆的日子，可是我们的家门外却聚集着一群强盗。我说，我们应该去把他们给赶走，然后再坐下来吃一顿团圆饭。干了！
Therefore, eating tangyuan is a way for Chinese people to express their best wishes for their family and their future life. In Han Dynasty, during the winter festival, people had one day off for the holiday. Ceremonies is organized to celebrate this festival and people will visit each other with delicious food.
After the invention of paper, calligraphy became an important art form to the Chinese. These scribes used brush and ink to create beautiful characters with one or more strokes. Paper was the perfect medium for calligraphy since it absorbed the ink well. Before paper, the Chinese wrote on silk which could be rolled easily, but which was also very expensive. Bamboo strips were also used, but they were very bulky. Paper was both cheaper and easier to bind together into books. It was made out of silk, hemp, bamboo, and seaweed pulp that was dried on a screen.
By the time of Han Dynasty, architects were building all kinds of different buildings, including watchtower, palaces, and storehouses. Architects started to experiment with more complicated roofs, using gables and overhanging eaves. The interior walls of important buildings were plastered and painted with figures, portraits, and scenes from history. For an example, timber was the chief building material in Han architects. It was used for grain palaces, halls, and multi-story residence halls.
The first invention in Han Dynasty is wheelbarrow. The Chinese historical text of the Shan Guozi credits the invention of the wheelbarrow to Zhuge Liang, which identified as wooden ox and falling horse. It's used as a transport for military supplies and hauling goods. The next is repeating crossbow, also known as the Zhuge crossbow, due to the design upgrade contributed by him. It allowed a higher rate of fire than a normal crossbow. Zhuge Liang's version could shoot further and faster. The last is homing lantern, invented by Zhuge Liang. It's used for military signaling.
For the first step is to split the front hair equally into 2 sections, each on one side by connecting the 2 ears from the end of the top of hair. For the second step is to take the leftover hair and separate them into 3 horizontal sections. The first 2 horizontal sections are about 2 cm and the rest of back hair will be the third sections. Next, you have to tie the first and second horizontal sections into ponytails. For this part, you have to take the both parts of front hair, hang down to the ear and twist the rest of the hair and fix them to the ponytail of second horizontal section with bobby pins. For the back area, divide the first section into 2 ponytails. Each ponytail is divided into 2 strands again. Twist the first strand of hair and set it into the loop. Then twist the second strand of hair and cross it with the first strand of hair before setting it into the loop. Repeat step 6 and 7 for the second ponytail. The next step is to take all the remaining hairs in the middle to tie a braid. Moreover, tie the third horizontal section's hair into the ponytail below the shoulder. And finally, use a strand of hair to twist around on the hairband in order to cover it. So this is the end of the hairstyle of female royalty in Han Dynasty. For the first step of public hairstyle is to braid a thin braid on both sides and tie them when 2 braids meet in the middle. After that, take a strand of hair from behind the ears and tie them into the ponytail under the chin. And turn it back to the back of the head. After that, take all the remaining hair and tie them into the ponytail which is length below the shoulder. And again, use a strand of hair to twist around on the hairband in order to cover it. And now we are finally finished with the public hairstyle in Han Dynasty.